Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Noble, and I just wanted to reach out and um, have a brief conversation or share some thoughts with my friends, colleagues, and my network here on LinkedIn as we go through unprecedented times. And just acknowledge to start that it is a period of fear, anxiety, definite uncertainty, not just in terms of our home lives, but in terms of business, the economy, health, etc. And that the people around us are, everyone's going through it at the same time. And there's unprecedented degrees of change as well. Many companies have made the rapid decision to have people work from home who don't typically do that, or to take brief sabbaticals from work. So we have change, and then we have other people who are going through a period of economic uncertainty and don't know when that time period is going to end, as in previous recessions like we had in 2007. And so I just want to start by acknowledging that. And I wanted to get on and talk to the people in my network and to talk about leading through uncertainty and how do we step up and be the best leaders that we can. And the reason I want to talk about that is I've had so many people just respond to this situation, this crisis, saying, what can I do to help? How can I add value? How can I take care of the people around me? So whether it's at home, in your community, in your business, is how do we lead through uncertainty when the people around us, including ourselves, may be fearful, have anxiety, going through unprecedented degrees of change, crises. Maybe it's elderly family members. They have people that they're concerned about who have depressed immune systems. So the first thing is to make the decision that we want to lead people through this, that we want to be leaders in our business, in our community, in our homes. So that's the first thing. Some people aren't going to be able to. They're going to be barely keeping their head above water, and that is okay. That is why we live in community with other people. That's why we have networks like LinkedIn, like families, our tribes, is so that we shift the burden as we're capable, where sometimes we can be the leader. And so I want to talk about what are some of the tips of how we can lead through uncertainty. The first one is to make the decision, I choose to lead people through this. The second is your culture and values, and you can think about this in the context of your home or in your business, but I'm going to focus on business just for a moment. Your culture and values are going to be in the spotlight like never before. If your culture and your values aren't woven into your business to the core, into the decisions that you make and the people that you hire, that's going to come to the forefront so quickly. If you have a strong culture that is really living the values of your company, that's really going to guide you through the tough times. Now, the truth of the matter is, we probably fall somewhere in between there, where we do a really good job at some of the values for our business, and maybe we struggle with others. It's not going to get easier during crisis when decisions become even more difficult and there's more trade-offs, but it becomes more and more important. I think it was Walt Disney that said once that decisions become obvious when you know what your values are. So just want to call that out there right there, is to reinforce that your culture and values become even more important, and that you need to continue to live them, to demonstrate them, and to lead by example. The third thing is empathy and action. It's to take the time to be empathetic with people. And in this situation, everyone's going through it at the same time. People around the world. I have family, my brother and his family lives in Hong Kong. They've been going through this for well over a month, being at home with their two middle school and two teenage sons doing online school now. My sister's in Guatemala right now doing a medical mission. My parents are out of town on vacation. My parents in their 70s. And I have friends in Spain going through, they're about to be, I think the next country shut down, much like Italy. So we're all going through it together. And so that makes empathy, in my opinion, I don't want to say easier, but we have more access to what the situation could be like. At the same time, I caution us, let's not make assumptions that somebody else's experience is the same as our experience. It's not. It's different for everyone. People have different responses just in general because of personalities, types. We're at different points in our life. We have different things going on, whether it's, like I mentioned, elderly relatives, people that we know that are really, they have immune systems that are compromised. And so people have different things weighing on them. And so not to make the assumption that we understand complete what they're going through and then taking action. And I think one of the great things about times like this is you do see the helpers. You see people stepping up and doing incredible things to help out. I've just been spending a little bit of time on Instagram and Twitter, just enough to read some of those stories, and it does my heart good to see and read about the examples of people who are taking the opportunity to help out the people around them. Then the next point that I have is to communicate early, often, and authentically. So don't harbor, hide, or delay bad news. Be candid and authentic, and to be upfront with people. I think one of the most frustrating things for me when I was working in an organization and part of a team was when you knew there was something that was happening, but you felt like you weren't trusted to be told the full truth. Now, in many cases, there's things you can't always share and or timing for when you can share it. But don't sugarcoat things. You're working with adults. Tell them what you know and what you can in the most authentic way possible. In your home, that's where it gets a little bit different with what is age appropriate for sharing, but at the same time, finding a way to convey the realities. And so with kindness and candor, sharing what's going on, communicating early and often. When there's an absence of communication, people fill it in. And oftentimes, I'd say more often than not, with the worst case scenario or multiple not as great scenarios. The next is to look for emerging leaders, look for new leaders. There are going to be people who maybe you had never noticed before, who are just naturally inclined and stepping up into that leadership being. Leadership is not a title. I think we know that. And so look for emerging leaders, people who want to step up, who want to help, who want to lead and or are already leading by influence the people around them. And then mobilize them, engage them to be a part of this leading people through uncertainty and fear. And I want to step back to the empathy topic because I think authenticity is key here. Much like the culture and values are going to be in the spotlight, your authenticity, your genuine care of people, your empathy, those are all so important in a time like this. And even just in this conversation, it's not pre-practiced, it's not perfect. I'm in a sweatshirt. It's a Saturday. I have 3 dogs snoring in the room. But if we can be authentic and be real and be bold and take action to help the people around us and to add value to those in our network, and by network, I'm not referring necessarily just to LinkedIn here, I'm referring to your network of people in your life, that is core and remaining true to who you are. And then lastly, opportunity abounds in times of uncertainty. And I'm not at all referring to being opportunistic. I'm talking about the opportunity to have an impact on people, to add value, to have meaningful interactions with people, to serve people, to help people who are in more need of help than we are, whether they're elderly, etc. And a part of leadership in the work context is speaking with candor, making decisions, deciding to lead through something with the longer term, the bigger picture in mind, with clarity, making decisions, and then following through on them. And we absolutely know that when things are changing, we can't predict the future. So we have to be adaptable. We have to have the ability to be agile and flexible and creative. And so part of that opportunity is making sure that you're giving people the freedom to showcase their adaptability, their agility, their flexibility, their creativity in solving problems and or meeting opportunities. And so I think I've already probably gone longer than I intended, but the last thing I want to share is a part of opportunity is, one moment. I had it and then it stepped away from my brain. Let me look. I told you it wasn't pre-rehearsed. Oh, now I remember. One of my favorite phrases is to prioritize and focus. And during times like this, especially if this does indeed continue down a path of a recession like we had in 2007, one of the most important things is going to be to say no more and to say yes better. That doesn't mean you need to cut everything, everyone. That can be a very short-term focus and a short-term reflex. You can be reactive, but to be proactive and then ideally even predictive, say no more and say yes better. Because there is opportunity, and in order to seize it, you need to be able to say yes, and to say yes well, which means you follow through with the resources, the humans, the people and the talent to seize those opportunities. At the same time, you can't do everything. And even in the best of times, I see companies trying to do that. Well, when things get tougher, you have to be even more tough in terms of saying no. So I'll just leave you with that today. I'm thinking of you all, and I will put a link in the comments. If anyone wants to reach out, spend some time talking about how they can lead their team better through uncertainty. If you've got scenarios you just want to brainstorm about, feel free to reach out, schedule time on my calendar. I'm not trying to sell you anything. That's my commitment to you, authentically and in integrity. But I would be happy to spend time, because the more people we can mobilize to be really strong leaders, the better we'll all be getting through this. So thanks everybody, and hopefully we will talk soon.